One of the things that we talked about at the end of the session, towards the end of the day, one of the things I was really interested to see, and I think you've touched on this a little bit, was what were the takeaways that you were taking from the people that you were talking to? For me, it feels like a lot of people have gone, and a lot of organizations have gone down a digital transformation journey, or at least taken their first steps, but they're not necessarily joining all of the dots together, so they're not seeing the full value. And this is where tools like this that understand actually what the pain points are, in the sense that we need to do more. There are less engineers. We need to make sure that we're optimizing every single aspect. I think that's one of the things that people are aware of, but they haven't quite joined those dots up yet. How did you get that kind of feeling? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I get the same feeling. I think there's essentially three types of organizations at the moment. Yeah, they're the ones that are still like doing this first phase of the digital transformation in the service space, right? Where they're implementing tools like FSM, still like in the process of rolling out mobile apps and these types of things and things to like do the reporting better and in a more structured way, et cetera, et cetera. Then you have a second space, which are the kind of digital avant-garde that is already using to a certain degree AI tools and is really very often doing like proof of concepts, but very often using internal capabilities. Not exactly 100% clear on where the path is going, but they're very much at the forefront and using tools like ours already. And then there's kind of, and that's where I would say most companies fit at the moment, this kind of middle playing field where everybody knows, hey, we need to do something with AI, but at the same time there's this sense of being overwhelmed, and like not really knowing where to start. And which initiative is going to give you the most bang for the buck, essentially. Yeah,
and I think there's also an issue as well with any digital transformation. I think there's an issue where companies are struggling to identify: is this a project that brings me an internal benefit or an external benefit for my customers? And some will marry across both. Like enhancing the triage process, for example.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's important to identify which part of the business we're serving, whether we're serving our customers or whether we're trying to protect our bottom line when we're going through those digital transformation processes, because then we manage our expectations and we also set our iterative roadmap in a much better way. I fully kind of agree with that. One question in terms of, and I actually, you bang on. I see it exactly the same. There's this big chunk of companies. There's still the laggards that are still kind of, unbelievably, there are still a huge number of companies that are still kind of taking their first steps into digital transformation. I think the pandemic, actually, one of the good things that came out of the pandemic was this acceleration towards kind of a more democratized industry, in the sense that everyone kind of took a step forward at the same time. But those that are kind of in that middle ground, that have got their kind of their ERPs or their FSM systems or in that space, they're going to be looking at tools like we're talking about today. And it was interesting you referenced the nuts and bolts of the other systems as well that you guys produce. They're going to often be looking at this and going, well, we've just moved to X platform or Y platform, and why, can we integrate these tools? And I personally think that the technology stack is the way of the future, rather than the all-encompassing platform and having best of breed tools that do X, Y, and Z. How does that apply to your philosophy?
Yeah, I think 100% agree. I mean, I'm also of the opinion that best of breed solutions are very often, especially when service is core to what you do, like it makes sense to use best of breed solutions, because that's what's going to give your workforce the most power. And especially when you're finding problems like aging workforce, knowledge management issues, like knowledge leakage also, then best of breed solutions make a lot of sense. And when we designed Inside Loop, we were very conscious about that. We were very conscious about the fact that technicians and the staff in general, they want to be supported in the best possible way, but they also don't have the patience to use like 50 different apps and, learn another tool, etc. So, we said there's two paradigms that we need to follow. One is that we very easily integrate with whatever service tool there is. And we spent a decent amount of time, I would say, to really understand, the FSMs of these worlds, Salesforce, ServiceNow, and all the different data models that they have, in which they, how they structure the service cases from, the initial call that came in to the solution that was provided to the different steps that are in between. And we built kind of a super data model on top of it, if you will, that allows us to plug into all these different systems and extract the information that we need to train our AI essentially, and to give you the answers. And so that was one thing. So we pride ourselves actually on being able to integrate with whatever systems super quickly. Even we still see a lot of clients who have systems that they develop in-house. And we managed to integrate with these like in 1 or 2 days. So it's you don't when you get the software, you don't buy like a 3-month project or a year-long project. Yeah, that goes with it, as we've seen in the past. But we're really able to turn it on essentially at the flip of a switch. I think this is the one important aspect. The second important aspect is going back to the number of apps that the technicians and the service staff in general are going to use, and we very often then integrate into existing tools. Yeah, like for example with FSM, you get an app that runs on your mobile phone. Well, you can get inside loop inside this app. So you have your service case that's there, and then inside loop will give you the root causes that it predicts for what the root cause of the service case will be in the context of the service case. Huh? And I think this is the second important part. We're not asking technicians to learn yet another tool, because we know that they already have a lot of tools to use, and they don't like that. So we're making the effort of making the information available, exactly where it's needed.
Yeah. I've always been a big advocate that great technology needs to be complex and clever in the background, but for the end user, it needs to be as seamless and obvious and intuitive as possible. The button that says, right, now we go there, that's where we want, and the contextual ability to say, right, in this job we're going to go here, here's the extra data, here's the extra information. Then it becomes a tool that empowers them, like you say, rather than being just an added thing. I never forget, I did a ride along, I won't name the company, but I did a ride along years and years and years ago, and I sat around with the engineer, because I was looking at at the time quite a new FSM mobile tool. Something that's fairly common these days, but at the time it was quite groundbreaking. This was almost a decade ago. And the engineer basically got his work jobs on the app, and he followed his notes, and then he made his notes on his pen and paper. At the end of the day, he said, right, Chris, I've just got to I'm done for the day now. I'm going to type up all my notes. And he hadn't quite made that seamless leap from finish the job, type up the notes, because it wasn't intuitive. It wasn't there for him. He had to go into 5 or 6 different screens and to get to the notes. And it's those little bits of UX that understand the engineer's workflow that are really important. Okay, hopefully you found that really useful as a service leader. That's what our purpose here is to try and help you as a service leader be the best that you can. That's why we've got a library of over 600 hours worth of content. That's why I'm always speaking to some of the best people, the smartest people in the industry. Now, the great news is you can access all of that content. We normally just charge £45 a month or £450 a year, but we're so confident in the value that we provide, we actually offer a trial for anyone that's new to field service news, and that is just £9. So if you're in the States, it's roughly $11, $12 at the moment. That's what? A couple of cups of coffee. That will give you 1 month of full access. All 600 hours of content, white papers, research, great conversations like these. Plus, it gives you access to the Field Service News Service Leaders courses, which is over 70 courses designed to help you as a service leader. Now, if you want to take advantage of this, do so quickly, because we only do these offers every now and then, because we can only accept a certain volume of members before we have to kind of make sure everyone's onboarded correctly. So the button down below will say unlock with FSM Pro. Okay, that's the button you click. You'll see a code just beneath that. Click that, take that code with you. The page will open into a new page, and you just pop that code just below, at the bottom, just below the payment section. That'll reduce your price down to £9. You can cancel at any time. So if it's not right for you, and I'll be honest, it usually is, and most people do continue on to have the full membership. But if it's not right for you, that's fine. You can cancel, and you've still got that access. You can still download everything theoretically, but most people find that because we're adding new content every month, it's a hugely valuable service. So take a look below, take advantage of this opportunity right now, and be the best service leader you can. Okay, take care.